we can start it out. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to Security Tales on YouTube. I am getting ready to hit the Facebook in a second. I got my partner on Zoom right now. Chris, say hello, and I'm going to go live over here.
Hello, people. Hopefully you can hear me well.
No, I can hear you a lot better today. I was screwing around with the whole system on there, but I can hear you really good today. Really good. I'm sorry, everyone. I just got to get my adjustments here for the Facebook. 08237. Let's get this going. Let's get this party going. Chris, you don't know how bad my luck's been this week, brother. But if we didn't have any luck, we wouldn't have luck at all, right? Isn't that what they say or something like that?
I'd say if you don't know the ups, you don't know the downs.
There you go. So I appreciate the downs. And that's it. So hello, everybody on Facebook. My apologies. I'm going to call Tommy T. We changed the time today to a later time. That has to do with me again. I had to take care of some stuff. But listen, we're back. We are back. I have Chris on. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to invite Tommy Titus back on this week. Let's see if we can get Tommy on. I'm looking forward to getting Tommy on. I thought that was pretty good. So we're going to do Tommy on the phone here today. So, Chris, we're going to have to say hello.
Hey, brother, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
All right. Chris, can you hear him?
Bailey, if you can turn it up a little bit, would be good. I assume everybody else is hearing what I'm hearing.
Go ahead, Tommy. Say something.
All right. Hey, Chris, how you doing, brother?
That's better. That works.
All right. I'm glad I got it working. So hello, everybody. So today we got to have one of my old freaking buddies on the phone. His name is Tommy Titus. Worked with me in the Department of Corrections many moons. He retired. Great friend, and I can't wait to have him on board with us and getting him in on Zoom once we figure out how to get him on. But also, I got my co-host. I always say host. Co-host Chris Kosher over there. He's on Zoom today. Chris, go ahead, say hi. We got everybody live now.
How are you, people? Everything looks good.
Sound
good. You're getting it down, bro.
I'm getting it down. I'm not like Marcus, but I'm getting it down. I'm not like our IT expert that does it all. I'm trying to make sure people can view you on the YouTube thing and they can look at it and then make sure they can see it on the Facebook also. Hey, so everyone. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us today. And for those of you that will be checking it out later, I appreciate it. So we're going to start out. I want to do a little intro. So Boston loves to talk about safety, equality, progress, but those words mean nothing. Means nothing when the people you trust to enforce them are operating behind a veil. This is Security Tales, and today we're ripping that veil off because what you don't know about background checks, CORIs, ESORI, and who slides through the cracks is the part that absolutely don't want to hear. Let me be blunt. Names will be named, failures will be flagged. In Boston's public safety and rhetoric, it's about to get hard, cold, and right to the truth. So, everyone, I wanted to just start out by saying, Chris texted me and wasn't sure where I wanted to go because I'm still caught up with the Charlie Kirk thing. And, I'm still saddened by the loss of him. And on top of it, and I know this is off the script, Chris, and also to you, Tommy, but I just want to say something if you guys don't mind. Can I just say about a 2-minute thing?
Not at all. Go ahead.
Say whatever you want, man.
All right. So I also have a shirt company, and the shirt company is called Eternal Valor, and you can purchase it from valoreternal.com. So I go down there to go talk to my boy about getting shirts. I got to do this because there was something I drew, and I uploaded it into the system, and it didn't come out the way I wanted to. So I wanted to see if he could do it, and it was something called SVG. All of a sudden, I hear this guy out there, brother. And the guy goes, "Oh, my Charlie Kirk shirt's ready." So in my head, I was thinking, wow, what an honor. I'm going to meet someone that's doing Charlie Kirk. I want to donate money to wherever he's donating the money. So I go over to him and I says, "Oh, hey, nice shirts. I really appreciate you doing that." He's like, "Oh, thanks." And I says, "Let me know where you're gonna do the donations to. We can move it forward." He looked at me puzzled. So maybe it's because me just walking up to him. I guess you would look kind of puzzled, right? So no, you know what the guy says? "I'm not donating the money." He goes, "I'm riding the waves right now." I felt like pulling, like, I don't even know, but all of a sudden this cold thing just came across me like, wow, I really can't believe this. So what I ended up doing was, just because of this, I decided to put something on Facebook, TikTok, all these things. And if you guys give me 1 second, I'd like to share what I wrote, because I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's you don't do something off death. You know what I mean? To me, it's just bad jujus. So
You don't profit up. That's exactly.
exactly. So what I wrote is this: a man's death is not your merchandise. When tragedy strikes, it reveals more the fragility of life. It exposes the character of those still living. I've watched people turn sorrow into profit, taking families' pain and stamping it on shirts, not to honor, not to give back, but simply to cash in. If you truly honor someone, you don't count dollars, you carry their memory with integrity. Support their family and stand for the values they lived. In moments like this, rise above greed. Show honor where it is due. Every life lost deserves dignity, not exploitation. I don't even know how much that set me back when I was thinking it was something so positive. So I'm sorry about that, guys. It just really it showed me some concerns on humanity right now.
Well, even the people who say donation, it's kind of like I get calls all the time from police and fire, uh, saying donate to Franklin Police, donate to this police and fire. And you're like, well, what percentage goes there? And they don't want to answer it because, that's not like a firefighter or a cop calling you. That's somebody from a marketing company calling you, say, they'll say, hey, look, we'll make phone calls for you on your behalf and we'll donate X% to you. And they're like, sure, 5% is better than zero. And, they do that and the marketing company ends up getting most of the money.
And you know what? I wish you told me that 3 years ago when I did do it. And then the guy called me back. "Hey, Felipe, what's going on? We're looking for the donation." And I said, "You know what I found out? That you only gave, and it was 3%. So I donated $250. They gave them only 3% of that." And in my head, I was thinking they were getting $250. So you're absolutely correct. I did not know that because I didn't think you had the rights to do that. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to donate to Mass State Police, but you want to donate? Automatically, you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sorry about that. Tommy, any input on that, brother?
Well, I was going to say it's really the fault of corporations. The corporations are the ones taking the money, and they're not doing the right things with it. You know what I mean? Like the Cancer Society, they're getting tons and tons and tons of money. You would think the cancer would be able to cure cancer by now, with all of the money that's gone there, but it doesn't go there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gets filtered to the CEO who's making an exorbitant amount of money at the top of the list of the Cancer Society. You can look at that money and just go, wow. So the actual research and development and that stuff gets next to nothing.
Yeah, here's the sad part, Tommy. Because Chris always gets on me because I'm a big conspiracy type of guy. I know they have the cure for cancer. I know they have the cure for all this, but it's in other countries and they just don't want to share it here. So to me, I think it's already there.
Yeah. And the thing too is they're shouting it down here. Because there's doctors in Texas, and I'm gonna say this: ivermectin, the wormer, helps break down cancer cells.
Oh, listen, I see you're with me. I agree. There was a study on it in Canada, and they were using it up there. But listen, that's on another episode. So let's move forward. So listen. All right. So listen, I know Chris wanted to discuss with this, and really it kind of hit home with him. He was like, let's talk about this. So first of all, I want to start it right off, Chris. Let's go right after Mayor Michelle. Whoa. No opposition, no accountability. Mayor Michelle Wu ran on promises of equity, transparency, and reform. But when it comes to who's allowed to protect Bostonians, accountability vanishes. Departments under her watch are clearing hires with minimal vetting, often with background checks that wouldn't even pass muster in private sectors. So, Chris, I kind of just wanted to open up with like that stuff. So, kind of wanted to say, what does that mean for you? Meaning the individuals with red flags, right? Past violence, charges from other states, or even unresolved criminal conduct are sliding into positions where they're trusted in public safety. The question isn't if she knows, it's why nothing changes. So, Chris, define for the audience, right, of what we're actually talking about. I know you wanted to talk about her not having any oppositions or nobody that's running against her. Wasn't Kraft's son or something like that running against her, dropped out? And then there was another person. So
another guy who couldn't even get 3,000 signatures. So I mean, he was just doing it for publicity or whatever the hell he was. But yeah, she's going to clean sweep it. So the thing with Blue is it's kind of like the thing with, like when they hold police officers, firemen, stuff like that, a little bit more accountable because, quote unquote, I pay your salary, my taxes pay your salary, this, that, and the other thing, so you're held more accountable. I think it's exactly the same thing with people who work for the city, right? Those people who work for the city are being paid by the taxpayers of the city, yet they're still pushing back to, even now, the latest news I read, that they're still pushing back, that they don't want to do criminal background checks on people. So, Flynn is pushing a criminal and a sex offender background check, and then before they hire you, and then every 2 years after they want to do a background check on you. It's extremely simple. It's not real hard, and they're still pushing back. And even to the point they're like, okay, well, if we do it, it hasn't been resolved yet, by the way. If we do it, we're only going to do criminal background checks on people who have contact with the public. What does that have? Why would it just be people who have contact with the public and not everybody who's hired by the city, being paid for, and by the city's residents? Which,
because Chris, it's discrimination. Because you can put a Skinner or a rapist watching animals, right? And that won't be a problem. So guess what? You can sit over here, even though you're a violent pedophile or stage 4 Skinner, whatever the hell you are, and all of a sudden you can get a job because you're not dealing with people. That's why, Chris.
And then you get a new job, maybe 6 months, 6 years down the road, and then you are dealing with public, but nobody's checked your background. Everybody. You work for a private company, they're going to check your background. You work for anybody, they're going to check your background. Why they're resisting this? This is like, this is a no-brainer. This is something that should have been done from the get-go. I mean, when I volunteered on my son's baseball team, I was the one responsible for doing the CORI checks on these people. And we did CORI checks on, all right, you're dealing with kids.
So, Chris, I'm sorry for stopping you, but we keep using the abbreviation. Can we explain what a CORI check is for some people that aren't in our field?
So you're just going to run their CORI, their BOP. You just you'll punch the information in, and it will show up anytime that they've had any kind of been arrested or any criminal interaction, with the police. You don't have to be arrested for it to show up, because there's a lot of things, minor things that I could arrest you for that I would just, because it's easier, I'll summons you. The end result is the same. It's just that you're not arrested. So CORI or BOP refers to
So,
your criminal record.
I just want to explain to everyone. So CORI is abbreviated for CORI, which basically just means criminal offender record information. That's all it means. So when Chris is telling you he's running a CORI or a BOP, he's just going through the system as I do, and it lets me know everything. The differences between me and Chris, and also you, Tommy, I think you ran VAC system for the department, which had that criminal backgrounds. But with me, I should per se, when I run a CORI, Chris, which is different from you, it's only in state. So yours goes out of state and everything. Mine doesn't. So mine actually just stays several years and it stays within this state. So if they move from Alabama or something, they might have caused a crime down there and I won't even know because they passed here.
Yeah,
you'd have to get into the NCI. I think it's the NCIC, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, like a triple. Well, you'll run a triple I, which will get you anything through the feds. So, but you have to, it's there's a discussion here, but it's almost like it's like almost a no-brainer, right? Where how do you not, run criminal background checks on people? It's just inconceivable that you're not for people who are working for the city, and then they still are fighting it, which is another thing against her, because this way she can hire who she wants or whoever she wants.
If you really look at it, Chris, though, right? So weapons, I just want to know the logistics of it because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't. I know, maybe you would know, Tommy. I know that if it's like, you assaulted someone or weapons or whatever, are you allowed to be around a school district? Weapon charges, obviously, I know if you're a pedophile or rapist and all that, you can't be around those areas. But is weapons included in that also? I forget.
I think it is.
You think it is?
I think it is. There's something in there
if you committed a crime, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, certain felonies you're not allowed to be on school because my wife's a teacher and one of her students' parents, had a felony on there which didn't allow him in the school, but they still, he's still allowed him in the school because nobody wants to tell you no nowadays. But I'm like telling him, it's like he can't come into the school, and not that they don't care, but they just don't want people just don't want the confrontation.
So here's my question. So now we both know, and I forget, is Flynn against it or for it? Against who?
Flynn's the one pushing it. Flynn and somebody else, I can get her name, are the ones who are pushing this.
What to waive it off, like no more background checks?
No, to have background checks. They've never had background checks.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay.
Yeah, he wants the background checks. He's the one pushing it. Everybody else, he wanted to have, like, they're not going to meet for they only meet every couple of weeks. And he's like, this can't wait a couple of weeks. This needs to be done now. So he tried to call for an emergency meeting, and they were pushing back because they didn't want to come in for their emergency meeting. But, it's just like senators and everything else. They get paid to work like a couple of days a year. They have meetings every 2 to 3 weeks, and, they don't want to come in for an emergency meeting to have a simple vote that should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. So, Tommy, let me ask you something. Since you left Massachusetts and you're working in Texas, and I know you retired from the department, but who cares that you retired from the department? Did they run a CORI? Do they have this type of stuff implemented out of state in Texas?
Oh, absolutely. I had to go through a fingerprint check. I had to do the whole federal NCIC check. They check you. They check the entire nation for any crimes you've committed.
Really?
And then they come back and they give, you get not a certificate, but they say, we've looked at your, we've looked at the NCIC and you're clean and and but that doesn't recommend you for hire. That just says, you could be hired. So then you go back to your employer. They said, we've looked at your, NCIC, we've looked at your CORI, and it's like, we're going to put you on, and that's kind of how it goes down here. And I'll tell you something, we have an incredible sheriff's department down here where I live in. I shouldn't say down here because I'm up here. I'm in Spencer, Mass. But anyway, we have a wonderful department, sheriff's department, and everybody around us, like Houston and everywhere else, can't stand our sheriff's department because they enforce the law. You go to jail. and there's no cashless bail up here. You go to jail, and they set bail. Well, it's usually pretty high.
Huh.
So, so no matter what you do, they had just recently a copper theft thing that went on the other day, and they arrested 2 or 3 people. They're in jail. They're going to sit in jail. We had a Skinner, a diddler actually that they just arrested. He's going to sit in jail, hopefully until somebody hurts him.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
Listen, no holds barred here. There's no need to search for him that's missing. Hey, Chris, what happened to you? You there?
I'm here.
Oh, your camera went off.
Oh, wait. All right, hang on. All right, now I'll just stop my video again.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was just looking at the other person. It's Erin Murphy is the other one that's pushing it with Ed Flynn to call for the special emergency thing. I got like 25 windows open on my computer, so
I think your best legislator up there is
I'm gonna pull a Felipe, I call it. So for those of you who don't know, Felipe pretty much never tells me what we're talking about, likes to ambush me. So I got likes to say, "Oh, this is what we're talking about." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You said it. That's why I'm asking you questions. I don't know. You hit me with it. I said, "Let's do it."
Oh, by the way, look, what I was telling you earlier.
Oh, hold on. Titus wants to say something. Go ahead before Chris runs off.
Right. Okay. The thing I wanted to tell you was Wu's running unopposed. Okay. However, she's already been put on notice by the president of the United States, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. She's just one more step. She's just going to disappear. She's going to disappear into a federal prison at the rate she's going.
Well, we'll see that. We'll see exactly what occurs and happens. She could just be spouting out the mouth, and then when they go and interact, like for the first time, I ever saw, I never saw an ICE commercial in my life. I saw an ICE commercial. We're hiring in Boston right now. Come join the ICE team. Never saw that.
Yep.
All right, so go ahead, Chris. I got to hear you spatting about how I bamboozle you all the time.
Yeah, you like to surprise me and see how quick I am. All right, so here's a new one. The founder of a Boston nonprofit charged with distributing crack cocaine. The founder and CEO of Boston nonprofit who provides reentry services for those arrested and charged And he was charged. So he helps people like when they get out of jail, get reentry into society, if you will. So obviously he has his work. That's how he gets his workers. I'd be guessing. He'd been charged for allegedly distributing crack cocaine. We see he's James Tooley of Dorchester and Brockton, 36 years old, founder and CEO of Adapt and Evolve LLC. Was arrested in charge with distributing more than 28 grams of crack cocaine. So Tooley alleged distributed 100 grams of crack cocaine in Dorchester on September 10th. And then again, he was arrested. Where is it? Let's not forget the FBI says he has a prior record of drug and sex trafficking, faces a 10-year sentence. And he was also convicted of selling cocaine in 2010 and sentenced to 5 years in prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. And I think it was he was just recently arrested with 136 grams of crack.
So he's not a bad guy then, Chris, right?
No. That's why he's running a
Who's he, Charlie Sheen?
What'd you say, Ty?
Who is he, Charlie Sheen?
No, he goes, what is he, Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
Wow. So this guy worked for the...
imagine that, like, that's his own...
Yeah, but Chris, you said he works for the recovery program?
Well, he helps people who get out of jail reintegrate, into the system. So he's a nonprofit, which means, he probably has people giving him money. He's probably collecting a substantial salary from that said company, because nonprofit at the end of the day doesn't mean you don't take a salary. It just means you make sure that you spend all your profits.
So
and then he's using that to fucking have people sell his crack.
So I got a funny story that's kind of like that. So when I was first opening up the company and I was looking for some employees, um, somebody had told me I could hire felons. So a gentleman, I will use that loosely, contacted me because someone says, "Oh, he started a company." This was over 10 years ago, and he's looking for employees. So he calls me up and he said what you just said, like a integration into society, and it would be great if a security company could hire them. We ran a lot of the nightclubs in Boston at the time, and I thought it would be a perfect fit. Then I go to find out because I'm a private investigator and the company lies underneath the private investigation law. I can't hire them. So the guy literally threatened me. He's an ex-convict, told me that we had a deal and he had 30 people and I was going to have to give him 20% for every person that I cut a check to. 20% of that goes to me, what meaning him. Then on top of it, because I canceled it, that I owe him X amount of dollars for the next 5 years. I literally couldn't stop laughing. And he told me, you might want to Google me and look to see who I am. And I says, well, how about this? Go vice versa. You better Google me to see who I am. And then we'll meet in the middle and I can tell you to fuck off in plain English. And it was just funny. It literally went on for like 5 months, just calling me from different numbers like, yo, you got my money. I was like, click, see you later. But that's funny because that's, like it or not, some of them are doing it for the greatest cause ever and they don't expect anything. And it's just because they have great morals and they learned and they divided themselves from crime. And now they're over here on the good side and that's what they want to do. But there are some bad apples that will always stay bad, that always thinks they got that me thing.
Massachusetts is the perfect place to run a friggin' nonprofit or a drug rehab or anything along those lines, because they'll throw money at you and not ask a thing. Not ask a thing, not ask any paperwork, not ask where you're from. But it even says, as the last part of that article, that Tooley created fear among his victims because he would get drug users to sell his stuff. That he has connections to law enforcement and other powerful and influential officials through his nonprofit.
So do you think some heads are going to roll on the police department? Do you think he did have somebody on the cuff in there?
No, I don't mean that on the cuff, but because I mean more like the politicians. So, for example, he's doing this nonprofit, and I bet you he has, if you look him up, you might find some pictures of him and some politicians because they're thinking he's doing the right thing, not knowing, not caring. So, he gets to cozy up to other, politicians and cops because they're also not on the take, but they think he's doing the right thing. So they're like, they're giving him accolades and all this other stuff, when in reality, he's not. So no, I don't think anybody's on the take. I just think he got to know some influential people because he was running a nonprofit.
Nothing from you, T?
Oh, no, I'm still here. I'm just listening.
Well, I figured you'd make a comment since you hated being here, that you moved to Texas.
Oh, well, yeah, I have, hey, Bo, let's go in here. Yes, ma'am? No, it's just me on the phone. Oh, I got a dog picking up my leg. I'm just checking on my wife, making sure she's okay.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, yes, I did grow apart from Massachusetts and all its political bullshit. I think Mayor Wu, she should be taken away. I really honestly believe that. With this, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why. With all this needle shit you guys got downtown Boston, what do you call it? The mass, I don't know what you call it, the mass mile,
Melena Cass.
Mile.
Yeah, Methadone, yeah. Melena Cass Boulevard. Yep.
Yes, yeah. You know what? I think I'd love to go sweep up all those needles that are left there and put them on the steps that she takes to go into her office. What you think?
But see, that's,
you know what I mean? It's like you walk across all these needles. You're going to want to clean it up now.
They do clean it up. I think, I can't remember the times, but I think it's at least twice a week or something like that. Because I was talking to guys at the DOC in Milford where they actually have to go down there. Everybody takes all their crap away. They clean up all the SH and the needles and everything else. And once they're done, disinfect it. And once they're done cleaning it, they put their tents back. So they actually clean it for them.
So I'm dealing with a situation right now where, we're running a new location where there's a park that just got built. I'm talking about less than 3 weeks ago. They've been doing it for over a year. They're not even done, but it's beautiful. It's now being taken over again from vagrants and trespassers. But not only is that happening, but as you stated, they're leaving feces all over the place. They're leaving hypodermic needles. They're having sex out in the park. All these things are happening. They have an environmental team that I don't think she put it together, but it's called the recovery team and an environmental team. And I had to call both of them to try to partner up with them and develop a relationship to try to help, because obviously we discussed this before. There's more to vagrants and trespassers and everything. They once had a home. They were once children. They were once adults, and something just went wrong in their lives. So they're not animals, even though some of them, I hate to say it, you just can't fix. But they do have a team that actually goes out there and does it. But the sad part, Chris, is they have to be notified about it. So if no one calls, they don't do, because they won't know. So sorry about that, T. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's like I see something, say something. Well, see, the place that I moved to, and Chris, it's a township. There's 110,000 people, 120 now, 1,000 people in our township. We have 155 parks. You will not find needle. You will not find a homeless person. You will not find any of this stuff in any of those 155 parks. And one of the things that I do is chase them out. I pick up the parks, which is mostly just regular litter that I've never picked up a needle. I picked up snakes. I like doing that.
Oh, geez.
But turtles, snakes, stuff like that, and then we just encourage our homeless to go get help, and the sheriffs come and take them. They'll pick them up. They don't put them in handcuffs. They whip them in the back of the cruiser and take them somewhere where they can get some help, and then usually we trespass them so we don't ever see them again. And they go to shelters. You know what I mean? They have places for these people, and some people don't want to do it. They just, because A, they got to stay sober. B, they want to do their own thing. That they think, you know what I mean? There's no entitlement in homelessness. I'll tell you that right now. But some people they prefer being homeless, and that I'll never understand.
Well,
what do you think about that?
The laws are real down south. Anywhere down south, the laws are real. People actually go to jail, and that's one of the biggest things I like and would love to move down south somewhere. But the laws are real.
There was a TikTok I saw the other day, and I don't know if it was real or fake, but it was ICE going, and I would like to say it was Texas, and it was an African American gentleman. He owned the land, and there was a bunch of people there, and ICE went on to grab some people, and he stood in front, and he said, "I don't know where you think you're at." He goes, "But down here, you don't walk onto my property like that." He goes, you can getting. And he goes, "There's no business on my land." And I was like,
"Yeah, you can get getting. I'll be fixing to shoot."
Yep. That's what he was saying. He goes, "You can just getting." And I was just like, "Is this guy going to leave?" And the agent just walked away. He just walked away.
Well, we just had an attack on our ICE agents in Dallas. I don't know if you saw that on the news up there, because you probably don't get that news. But there was a sniper on the roof, and he shot down at a ICE van. And you know who he killed? He killed 2 detainees, injured another one, and then killed himself. And then on his, just like that idiot that shot Charlie Kirk, he had messages on his shell casings, and one of them was "fuck ICE," and the other one was, you know what I mean? Just had all these anti-ICE things. And what does he do? He shoots the guys he's trying to, supposedly in his brain is trying to protect. He shoots and kills 2 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't make sense.
Not at all, because you know what he was? He wasn't a sniper. He was just like the guy that shot Charlie Kirk, and everybody's trying to say he was Mossad, and he was all this other stuff. He was special forces, and he was none of that stuff. You know, he just fired off a shot like he's shooting at a deer, and he just happened to get it right.
Jesus.
You know, see, now that's my opinion. And if there's some lefty conspiracy theorists that say, well, he was a MAGA dude, and he was a Mossad sniper, and he was, and it's like, no, he was a tranny loving idiot that got onto a roof and fired a shot. And he got lucky.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? That's how I feel about that.
Well, it's just the way society's being built right now. It's just a strange world that's occurring. I wanted to discuss about the Anderson case that happened, and Anderson was someone who record included prior complaints, minor charges, questionable association, still landed a position with sensitivity access. And why? Because the system failed.
And he was the one the Stadies took down in Boston, correct?
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting because, because I know Chris wanted to talk about the CORIs and everything, but think about this. Hey, Chris, I was just bringing up into that thing with the Michelle Wu and everything, and thank God Ed Flynn and all them are pushing it. But the Anderson thing, I wanted to bring it back, and God bless the state troopers, okay. But here's an example of background investigation, correct? Here's a person with a weak background check cleared him. A deeper ESORI check likely wouldn't have, right? And an ESORI is a sexual offender registration, which I'm going to add a story to that. And now someone with a documented risk profile is trusted with public safety. So really think about it. Here's someone whose record included prior complaints, minor charges, questionable association, and he still landed in a position, and he passed this background. So
they didn't have a background, so that's how he passed it.
Well, it says when I researched it, it said he had a soft background. I don't even know what the hell that means, bro. A soft background is not, you type in someone's social number and everything. That's not soft. That means you did it. So what's a soft? What? Hey, Chris, your next door neighbor. Hey, is he a good kid? Yeah, I love him. He carries my groceries in. Okay, hired. Is that a soft?
Yeah, that is something. Put it this way: a soft does not include a criminal background. I would have to say, because there's zero chance that guy who had that trooper interaction would get hired. At least I hope.
So
at least
I got a question for both of you. So this is for me. So I run this cat, right? He passes a CORI. But in my head, I'm like, that name is so familiar to me. So familiar. Like I saw it. Do you know how you're sitting there and sometimes news pops up and it says person, but you don't watch it, but you see it and you see the name, you know what I mean? And it sits in your head. No? That's never happened?
Yeah.
But
it's a gut thing.
Yeah. So I tell my team, I said, hey, listen, do me a favor, Google this guy before you hire him. So they Google him. This dude got busted, was in the maximum prison. He was a drug dealer. He basically also had distribution charges. What is it when you run girls? I forget what that's called.
Human trafficking?
Sex trafficking. Yeah, you guys are right. Called sex trafficking. So let me ask you this. He passed the CORI, 100% passed the CORI. Then what I found interesting is he just picked up a case that's still an open case that's still going on 3 years ago. Okay. Now I ran an ESORI on him, came back as a hit. And I said, holy Christ, at least ESORI picked it up immediately. And this was like something that occurred several years ago. And, but he passed the CORI with an open case and prior felon. So
I have a question on your verbiage. When you say pass this CORI, do you just like punch his stuff in and they say he's good to go? Or do they give you more information?
They had to use wrong information that way.
So
or something.
Nope. So I put it in. So it basically asks you their name, race, social security, the whole 9 yards, the last place of residency. Then I hit in. like I've been doing it for 13 years. And all of a sudden, it gives me a 4-part folder. It'll tell me all the criminal, it'll say felon, misdemeanor, whatever.
Sure.
And then I put it aside and say, they're not hired. We can't hire them. This one basically gives me 2 sheets and says at the end of it, CORI's completed. That's it. Doesn't tell me pass, failed, but when it fails, it gives me all their charges that they had. This came back with nothing because Mass State law underneath the Private Investigation Act, if I'm hiring somebody, I need to do CORIs and ESORIs. But if I'm telling you, I know for a fact there's been 4 or 5 people that have passed, and then it says, well, it only goes back several years. I personally don't know how far back it's gone because, to be honest with you, I've never actually looked. But I didn't fill it out wrong. I didn't do anything wrong because if it does, it comes back to you, and it says no, you did something.
That's stupid. It shouldn't say pass or fail.
I'll show it to you when you come in.
No, but what I'm saying, it should give you what he did, the charges, and when he did it, and then you should be able to make the decision.
Well, it does, but his didn't come back to anything. So now I'm wondering, is there a statute of limitation on how far it goes back? Because to me, on a CORI, that should have popped up too, that he was a sexual offender.
See, although else a lot of people do, like say they have multiple names or they have a middle initial, they don't have a middle initial.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of people will do to screw around. They'll change their middle name. They'll reverse their date of birth or something like that, or something like that. So that's when you do it. You know, when we would do it, we'd be able to look at it and see anything close or anything similar. You know, because a lot of times they could have 2 different CORIs. You know, that the person just, you know, instead of 6-8 for his date of birth, he did 8-6. You know, crap like that to screw around with you.
Huh.
So, but they should tell you all his charges. Here's an idea. I'll tell you. I should tell you offline, but it doesn't matter. When somebody wants to work for you and they come up with a pass, why don't you tell them, all right, you know, go into the police department, run your BOP, because you can run your own BOP, have them print it out, and you bring it into me.
Here's the sad part. I 100% agree with you, but because I own a security company, I have to run it underneath my license number.
No, do both. Do both. Just in case it doesn't go back far enough, and especially do it on the passes, because it could say, because what I heard you say, when it passes, it doesn't tell you what they have for charges.
Yeah, it just says they're good to work. Well, it doesn't say good to work. It just says nothing.
But what I would want to do is just because they pass them, they may not pass your criteria. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So he may have a couple of things where you're like, he passed on my check, but I don't want this guy working for me.
See, and I agree with that, but the only thing that pisses me off, it only pulls criminal records from within Massachusetts for me. Obviously, with you guys, it pulls it from everywhere. It focuses mainly on convictions and pending charges in the state courts. It doesn't show that for me. For you guys, it will. And it does, and I'm sorry, I did research it. It does usually cover 7 years back for felonies and 5 years for misdemeanor. But in some cases, older convictions might not even appear. So what's the sense of hitting somebody with a CORI to go work for a security company if I can't see that this guy was vicious and was a gun guy in anything? It often doesn't even show dismissed cases, sealed records, juvenile offenses, or out of the state charges. And this is the big one. It does not even include National Sex Offender Registry or Federal Criminal Database unless an employer specifically requests and is authorized to access them, which to me, I'm only allowed to access what I can access. And that's why I went into the ESORI to be more in depth.
Well, I think that's something you PIs need to do is solicit whoever you got to solicit to get expanded results so that you're hiring the best people.
Yeah, because I look at it this way. When city people, like, because we were just discussing that, when they said, oh, we did a CORI check, what they really mean is they ran a limited in-state criminal search and nothing more, right? Because that's called the soft background.
I would think they would have full access, and if they don't have full access, I would imagine they can have somebody from Boston PD run full access for them, which I think would be very, very easy. I mean, doesn't she get driven around by Boston PD?
I believe she does. Does she, Titus?
Right. I think
The
she
mayor?
does, so they can.
Mayor Wu?
Yeah, she's, yep.
Not that that'd be their job, but not for nothing. It's really takes 5 minutes.
That it does. I know for me, like, because obviously you got to work, I got to do a CORI, ESORI, multi-state criminal background, sex offender registry, and continuously monitoring. So I basically do it once a year. So even if they're working with me, I still check their crap.
Hey, Tommy, did you have to do a lie detector down there, polygraph?
Here not for this job that I'm doing now, but they do have them for everything else.
Yeah. Massachusetts is one of the few states that don't do
The
polygraph.
DPS stuff, the sheriffs do. I'm thinking what else we have? We have the troopers here that do. But we in the township I live in, it's actually policed by local sheriffs, state troopers, Homeland Security because of where we are, and we have an incredible police presence in the village.
Now, could you get onto the police department after you retired here?
I could actually because no, I'm too old. I think I'm 65, so that I think I'm too old to get on. But I could get on. I could actually get on the border patrol because they've opened up the hiring, but I don't know if I could. I couldn't run anybody down anymore. I'd shoot them before I ran them down. I think.
Tommy, stop it! You couldn't run them down before.
I know that. I'll tell you what, though, they couldn't buy me if they're running through my gate.
Did you hear Chris? Chris said go to ICE, no age.
That's right. Yeah.
And a $50,000 bonus. Damn, I might as well go.
Right? Oh yeah. You sign me up? Yeah. My wife's ready to sign me up. Susie's like, oh yeah, sign me up.
She'll join in.
Yeah. They'll have me if they start shooting at the bands and go, hey, Titus, jump out there and take some for the team.
Oh, God. So, Chris, go ahead. No, I was going to ask you.
Tommy, are you in Spencer now? Did I hear you up in
Yes.
Massachusetts?
Yes, just till Monday. We're up there for birthdays.
All right.
Last year we came up for funerals, birthday.
Hey, I'm looking to dump some Patriots tickets if you're interested in buying some tickets. I know you're a fan.
Oh, but I'm sure we're doing something on Sunday. Are they playing Sunday or Monday night?
Sunday.
Oh yeah, it's a birthday weekend, so we're out of that. That'd be nice. Though.
Whose birthday?
My grandson, Colton.
Oh, I thought you said it's the wife's birthday. I go, what a good treat that would be. Patriots tickets.
I know, right? She remembers the day you and I went,
Oh, yeah, that was a bad time. Oh, Chris, that was bad. Titus took me to a game. It was bad.
It was fun. You just didn't know football then.
Nah, I just didn't care. I was more into talking to the chicks.
I know.
But Chris, what else you want to add to that?
That's about it, because that's like one of those things that I don't understand how they haven't been doing it all along. It's just like it's like so stupid. It's just it's inconceivable. I just want to throw in a quick tidbit about my girl, Tanya Fernandez Anderson from remember the Boston City Council girl?
Oh yes.
Not only did she hire a cousin, she hired a kid, which both are illegal, and then she gave a bonus to like her friend, and her friend was going to kick back like 2/3 of the bonus. And the reason why she needed the money is because she needed to pay off another fine for something else bad that she did. But the point I want to bring up is prosecution. Now, this was a FBI investigation. She was 100% guilty, paper trail, everything else. And they were looking for a year and a day plus restitution of $13,000 in jail. It just came out. She's doing like 30 days, and it says nothing about the restitution.
Yeah, 30.
So
30
days in jail for federal fucking charges.
30 days in jail for stealing. Well, no. What? Hiring her cousin. And
Yes.
what?
Well, you can't hire family members. So that's one thing that she did before. That was the thing that she did before. And then she had, I don't know whether it's a friend or a cousin. She's like, well, I can give somebody a $7,000 bonus. So I'm going to give you a $7,000 bonus. And I think you're going to give me back $4,000 or $5,000 in cash. And I don't know why someone would even agree to that. That's not a good deal. And
well, it is if you're getting a city job that you wouldn't get.
No, she already had the job. She was giving her an employee a bonus. So you get $7,000. What are you going to get? $4,500 in reality, and then you're giving back the person $4,000 for the bribe, right? So but so that's what she got charged. She got charged with, and she ended up doing. She's doing 30 days in jail. And the best part is, it's like they decided her, what she's getting for charges, and she doesn't have to even report till October 17th. It's like, how do you get convicted? You go into jail, and they're like, okay, come back in 6 weeks, and we'll put you in jail. It's like,
yeah, but what jail? What jail is she gonna?
Down in Framingham.
Something very soft. But to go from a year and a day to 30 days is ridiculous.
Huh?
And be allowed to go home.
Chris, is she being held on house arrest? Because they'll use that as jail time, won't they? They'll say time served.
She wanted house arrest, but they wouldn't give it to her. I mean, they had 6 charges, which they dropped it down to 3, I think, and they went from a year and a day to 30 days. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm sorry. And mark my words. Give it a year or 2, she'll be back running for city council, saying, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry Springer did it. I love Jerry. Look at all the charges Jerry had. I love him.
And Massachusetts is the Philippe. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, it's always that way. You know that. It's always been.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody. So, Chris, anything you want to say before we sign off?
That's all I got, man.
All right. We just thought it would be interesting to share it with everybody. Just our input on Michelle Wu, Anderson, Fernandez, and I praise my boy Ed Flynn, push those backgrounds, push all that stuff into the system. Let's start cleaning the house. Titus, anything you want to say?
I'm just looking forward to the day the feds actually do what they're going to do, what they did in Washington, what they're doing in Memphis. I can't wait for them to do it in Boston.
It'll be happening. I know certain areas where people run clubs, and their clubs are going down right now because, believe it or not, half of the people that go there are all illegals. So they've lost a lot of business. Mm-hmm. But hey, thank you guys for joining. Let's obviously Chris wanted to talk about this. I found it very interesting. Stay tuned for next week. My last thing I want to say is, once again, my blessings to the Kirk family. I'm still very saddened, and I'll always be saddened that that he had to suffer through the loss of his life over something as ridiculous as this. And that's all I got to say. But thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Titus. Chris, as always, signing off over here first on Facebook. Thank you, everybody. Then I work my way over to boom to the computer. Thank you, everyone. Be blessed. Stream is ended. Boom.